Hywet Hall Gardens in Akron, Ohio, once the home of F.A. Seiberling, co-founder of the Goodyear Tire and Rubber Company. The Biltmore Estate, located in Ashville, North Carolina, the largest privately owned home in the United States, once owned by George Washington Vanderbilt II, who amassed his fortunes through steamboats and railroads, among other things. And then there is Bellingrath Gardens in Theordore, Alabama, home of Walter Bellingrath, Mobile, Alabama's first Coca-Cola bottler. Join us today as we visit Bellingrath Gardens, one of the most beautiful and stately homes in America. We'll introduce you to industrialist and philanthropist Walter Bellingrath and his wife Bessie, whose wealth and influence continues to this day. We'll share with you their history and take a tour of their gorgeous gardens and estate on this episode of History and Relics. A native of Atlanta, Georgia, Walter Bellingrath was born in 1869 and was later raised in the small town of Castleberry, Alabama. At the age of 17, his first job was with the Louisville-Nashville Railroad as a station manager, which included the sending and receiving of telegraph messages. In 1903, Walter and his older brother William came into an opportunity to purchase a franchise to sell bottled Coca-Cola in southern Alabama. Their franchise territory stretched for a 100-mile radius down to the Gulf Coast, but was later split, with Walter taking Mobile, primarily due to his joy of fishing. Because of a lack of carrying sufficient train fare, it was not uncommon to see him walking the train tracks between small towns. His hard work and perseverance paid off well. Bellingrath was Mobile's first Coca-Cola bottler, which became one of the most successful in the United States by the time of World War I. Prior to World War I, Walter met Bessie Mae Morse, who was an employee of the Mobile Coca-Cola Company. The two were married in 1906. The couple had no children, but they enjoyed the company of their young nieces and nephews and a wealth of other family members. With overwhelming success, countered by a major sugar shortage during the war, it took its toll on Walter. In 1917, he was advised by his physician that he needed to balance his hectic work schedule with some rest and relaxation. Walter had already been admiring a 25-acre property about a half-hour south of their Mobile homestead by the Fowl River in Theordore, Alabama, and decided it might be time to take the doctor up on his suggestion. The Bellingraths were residing on Ann Street in Mobile, which was known around the area for its great garden displays, which attracted many spectators from miles around. Bellingrath Gardens, the admired property by Fowl River that Walter finally purchased, was originally known as Bell Camp and intended to be a fishing camp for Walter. Over time, Bessie's love for azaleas at the Ann Street home grew, and she began taking cuttings down to Bell Camp to plant. After traveling to Europe and visiting several stately gardens there, the two decided to get professional assistance in the design of their new property in 1927. They hired George B. Rogers, Mobile's most prominent architect. Rogers worked endlessly on developing the property as well as their new home until his death in 1945. With the Great Depression starting in 1929, friends quietly kept Bessie aware of families in need. She would make rounds throughout the neighborhood, checkbook in hand, seeking to buy azaleas or other flowers from the yards of those in need. At a time when the U.S. government saw it fit that $25 a week was enough to raise a family, Bessie was cutting checks for 4 times that amount to buy flowers from homeowners. She also once purchased a dozen of crocheted afghans from a local flower shop owner at $100 apiece, knowing that the money would put the woman's niece in college, which it did. Mrs. Bellingrath also had an eye for antiques and collected them from New Orleans to New York. Just as with azaleas, she was always ready to purchase an item brought to her front steps and a car laden with children paying top dollar for the family treasure. Antique dealers along the famed Royal Street in New Orleans had few customers during the Depression, and they saved their best for the lady from Mobile who never quibbled over the price. One dealer once admitted that when Miss Bellingrath arrived, prices doubled, but she never complained. She knew that her purchase might be their only sale of the week. Her household staff recalled her always inquiring about their families and quietly handing out $20 bills for completing small chores. She offered to help her butler to buy a car, so he wouldn't have to share a ride to work. He was stunned when she paid for the car in full, and when he asked how much should be taken from his weekly paycheck, her response was swift. This was a gift, not a loan. Now, not a word. Walter was long associated with the Mobile Chamber of Commerce, for which he gave more than just his time. On at least 2 different occasions, it was Walter Bellingrath who wrote personal checks to cover the entity's annual financial shortfalls. In the spring of 1932, the Bellingraths opened their Fowl River property to the public to allow them to gaze at the gardens and take their mind off the Great Depression, if only for a minute. The response was phenomenal, as the roads between Mobile and the gardens became a one-way traffic jam. The astounded couple decided to open the gardens permanently while charging a nominal fee to assist them in the care and upkeep of the property. By 1935, construction of their new home was completed, resting upon now some 900 acres along the Fowl River, with 65 of those acres cultivated with gorgeous flower gardens. The home consists of 15 rooms and 10,500 square feet of space. It was the most modern structure of its day, although Alabama Power had not yet brought electricity to this remote area of Mobile County, but rather a large Delco generator was utilized until 1940. George B. Rogers designed a guest house in 1939. The building also contained a 6-car garage, an intimate chapel, and laundry area. In 1967, the open garages were enclosed to become the Belle Champs Gallery of Beam Porcelain and a visitor's lounge. This fine collection was a gift to the Bellingrath Morse Foundation by Oliver and Alfred Belchamps and their sister, Annie Belchamps Moore, who were long associated with the Bellingrath family. Their donations of early and rare porcelain sculptures by Edward Marshall Beam has become the largest display of its kind in the United States. Walter's other business interests included owning a national mosaic tile company, serving on the board of the First National Bank, owning a warehouse company, and he was one of the original founders of the Waterman Steamship Company of Mobile. Bessie died suddenly in 1943 at the age of 64. A Catholic bishop called to console Mr. Bellingrath and asked permission for a group of nuns to say a prayer as a way to say thanks for all that she had done for them. As the couple had been Presbyterians, this surprised Bellingrath, who asked, "How?" Without his knowledge, Mrs. Bellingrath had been sending flowers to the Catholic Providence Infirmary every week. The staff had been instructed to place fresh flowers in everyone's room who did not have flowers sent to them by family or friends. Walter dedicated the rest of his life to work on the gardens that she had worked so hard to create. "These gardens were my wife's dream," he once said, "and I want to live to see that dream come true." Walter Bellingrath died in 1955 at the age of 86. The Bellingraths are buried at Magnolia Cemetery, just outside Mobile, and about 30 minutes north of their home in Theordore, Alabama. Before we visit the home, let's stop here and pay our respects. Bellingrath Gardens and Home is a unique icon and a gift to the Gulf Coast region, containing thousands of superb plants and flowers. And did you know it was mentioned in the 1962 film To Kill a Mockingbird by Atticus Finch, a fictional character in Harper Lee's Pulitzer Prize-winning novel of 1960, and played by actor Gregory Peck. Also, on December 15, 2014, USA Today included Bellingrath Gardens and Home's Magic Christmas and Lights, 3 million of them to be exact, on its list of the 10 best public light displays in America. With so much more to offer than what we have here to show, you just have to come and see this all for yourself. But until then, we hope you enjoy this brief tour.
Thank you for joining us today. We hope you've enjoyed our program. If you like our content, we ask that you like, share, and subscribe to our channel. It costs nothing but means a lot to us and keeps us growing. You may also leave us a tip if you choose. A link is provided here on your screen as well as in the description area below. And until next time, everyone, this one is history.